This was released just a few years after the first game, which was sprites and like traditional game animation, and they decided to make it full motion video.
As much as they could at the time.
Which is quite a lot.
I really like the soundtrack for this game.
Yeah.
It's so dramatic.
It's still the same guy.
Achtung!
Achtung! 1750. It's the same composer, who I think is Jane Jensen's husband.
It's less beepy.
Yeah. Well, it's not MIDI, but it's also just a well-made. It's a better made thing.
They're burning that straw.
Yeah. We sort of have no context for what this is. This game came on 6 discs, 6 CDs at the time. It was ridiculous.
Not better than floppies.
Oh, I don't speak German, but I kind of understand German, so I'll translate it if I understand it. If I can't, well.
Or it'll be like hilariously wrong.
I don't think it'll be hilariously wrong.
Oh, fine.
I just won't know. So, it's not like the video is really high fidelity.
Obviously.
I think if you watch the videos on their own, they're only like maybe 100 to 150 pixels tall.
Wow.
Well, you can kind of tell that. So this is a weird scene.
On fire.
Yeah, I don't know what
Your
we're like.
Your child is on fire.
That's bad parenting.
You
Even
should
I
put
know
him
that.
out.
Yeah.
Like if one of my cats were on fire, I would put them out.
That's
I
sensible.
mean, like extinguish the fire, not put them outdoors or something.
Hmm.
Although if it were raining, that might be a quick way. And when isn't it raining lately?
Yes. Let's talk about the weather.
People love to talk about the weather.
I know.
Everybody complains about it, but nobody ever does anything.
It's hilarious.
Yes. My dog has no nose.
How does he smell?
Awful.
Schlosser looks a little different than the last time we saw it.
Looks like a house.
Well, but they, it's a place.
Yeah.
I don't know whose house it is.
Presumably it's some Ritter's house.
Well, I mean in real life.
I mean, Schloss Ritter and Ritter. Oh, well, yeah, I suppose that probably is a real house, isn't it?
Well,
it could be a model.
That looked pretty realistic.
They make really realistic models.
In like 1994?
Sure, why not? Building models isn't really harder than it. I mean, you just make a really fancy dollhouse. Although having people walk up to it might have been a little bit.
Maybe that's green screened.
No. I mean, they don't appear to interact with it, so.
Gabriel's scars, are those on the right? Are those on the correct arm? Malia, Tedalo cut him on his arm.
Is this a rhetorical question?
No, I can't remember.
Oh.
I think they're on the wrong arm.
I have no idea.
So we see Gabriel has published the story of the first game as a book.
Here's his fancy talisman. And his hair.
Yeah.
Sure is some hair, isn't it?
I like the actor who portrays Gabriel.
It's just, hair.
He does a fine job. I should put a counter of how many times he plays with his hair.
Yeah. Bing, 1.
Yeah.
False.
Bing, 2.
Come in.
Herr Knight, there are some people here to see you.
Does that count as
Me?
the same?
Yeah, if you please come.
think that's 3.
What's going on?
Okay. Bing.
You've been acting strange all day.
Please just come. And don't forget your talisman. You must wear it
well,
always.
that's alarming. So they're like vampires at the
Damn
door?
thing's heavy. Well,
villagers.
hello there. Shouldn't those be torches?
Yeah. No pitchforks, though, so that's a good
Guten
sign.
Herr Knight. I am Werner Huber. Forgive our coming here so late, but we must speak with you.
What can I do for you?
Oh, this is my cousin, Sir Huber Sepp. He has a farm just outside of Munich.
Fascinating.
I will tell you the truth, Herr Knight. We have come for the Schattenjäger.
I see. What makes you think you need a Schattenjäger?
It is because of Sepp here. 2 nights ago, his wife goes to the window of the house to call in their daughter, Tony. It is getting dark. The light outside is not so good, yeah? She sees Tony some meters away, playing at the grass. And she sees a wolf. It is huge. And it is moving towards the child. The mother screams to the child, warning.
5!
And that is when the beast strikes.
Tony!
Oh, no, langsam. They say she died quickly. Sepp here hears his wife screaming, comes running from the barn. He sees the wolf, goes inside the house to get a gun. But when he comes out, no wolf. And it has taken part of the child with it.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it is very bad, Herr Knight. That is why we come to you.
Haven't the police been notified?
Oh, ja, natürlich. The police, they think it is wolves escaped from a zoo. They search and search, but they find nothing. This is not the first such killing. And if it is not stopped, it will not be the last.
By definition.
I'm not really sure what you want me to do.
The killer is not wolf. It is werewolf. You must hunt it down and kill it.
Werewolf? What makes you think it's a werewolf?
The wolf looked at me. Its eyes were human. It knew what it was doing. It knew.
I'm really very sorry about your daughter, Herr Huber.
I have told them that you are the new Schattenjäger.
You wear the talisman. Are you the Schattenjäger now? Or are you not?
I am?
We do not know you, Herr Knight, but we have known the Schattenjägers for many centuries. It is to them we turn in trouble like this. Sepp here is family. Will you come? Just look around, see what you can see. Huh? Sepp and his wife go north to be with her mother. You can stay on his farm.
All right. I'll look into it for you. See what I can see.
I'll pack your things.
Great. Thanks. I'll meet you in the village in an hour.
Oh, thank you, Herr Knight. Thank you.
He got through that whole thing without playing with his hair. That was amazing. I thought for sure.
There was a restrained moment.
Yeah. Why is he sleeping on the couch?
So they didn't. Well, I guess he doesn't want to sleep in their bed. Ding.
4.
Yeah, and they didn't do it halfway, like, games like Return to Zork or whatever, where there's occasionally video.
That's me, Gabriel Knight.
Everything that you do has a video. And even these scenes are, digitized photographs.
Oh my God, can you break that clock?
No.
A little too tasteful, if you ask me. Gracie ordered them.
I really want to break that clock.
Nope.
The family talisman. Wolfgang gave up his life to get this back.
It plays the whole time, the entire game.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You can't always be in this room.
No.
Brilliant prose, if I do say so myself. Unfortunately, I'm just pissing the wind until I can think of a plot line. Maybe this case will inspire me.
Yeah, so
Seems likely.
you can look at this. He doesn't really know what to write because he's not. I guess he's not actually a writer. He can just write down what happened in the previous book. But evidently, we're given to understand that he used the $1 million or whatever that he stole in blood money from the Voodoo Hound for to revive the store and revive the castle. I don't know if you can beat the previous game without stealing the money.
Why would you even want to?
Well, I mean, I guess it's just one of those things where it's canon.
I take it that Huber's a Catholic.
The game doesn't really shy away from...
I don't think the Hubers want me in their private bedrooms.
From religion.
China. Our homie.
I would say overall that this game is mostly a parable of homosexuality.
Really?
Well, it could be argued.
I'll have to pay attention.
I don't think it's subtle. Certainly we've got to look at Gabriel's feminine side. Yes, from a letter from Gabriel's lawyers, and the address is
It's
in
from the
Marion
Ritter
Platts.
family lawyers.
They had trouble transferring the title to him because, of course, his grandfather changed their name and moved to America and ditched their entire family. But so we can go see the lawyer in Marion Platts, because somehow Gabriel's lived in Bavaria, in southern Germany, for a year and doesn't know any German.
Awesome.
So he can't translate anything. Like, I know more German than he does, and I do not speak German.
Gabriel, I've just notified the Catholic Church about a miracle. Things have actually been picking up around the shop. We've been going through stock like a real store. I keep expecting the candid camera guys to pop out at any moment and say, just kidding. In other acts of universal randomness, the Voodoo Murders is up to number 20 on the New York Times bestseller list. Yes, the taste of the American public can be a terrifying thing. In any case, your U.S. bank account is blossoming, not unlike the desert after a fluke storm. If you don't mind, I'd like to use a little of the money to fix up the shop. Your gran is fine, but misses you. Mosley has been hanging around, making himself a real pain in the butt. Fortunately, I need only bring up the bald detective Mostly in your book, all 240 pounds of him, and your pal turns red and is out the door in about 5 seconds. Things are organized here, just waiting for your decision. I think you can find a buyer if you want to go that route. I know you hate to write, but I need to get a feeling for what your plans are so I can make some of my own. I haven't seen or heard of anything here that seems relevant to this Schottenjäger business. Take care. Grace.
I don't know that was like the best acting, but you had to bear with it. I like the actress that they got to play Grace.
Clock follows you to this room, too.
This is the same room.
Fair
It's
night.
just different
The keys for the car are by the door. It is better not to drive inside Munich. Drive Road 96 to Lockham. Park the car and take the U-Bahn from there. Thank you for helping us. Frau Huber.
Yeah, so we take public transportation everywhere, pretty much.
I can't read much of it, but they give the name of the zoo. It's in Thalkirken. The name of the detective on the case is Liebe, from the police station near Prinsrud Gentenplatz.
Okay, so I translated this. Killer wolves from the zoo still at large. The 2 wolves that escaped from the Munich Zoo in Thalkirken have still not been caught by police or hunters. The man in charge of the investigation, Criminal Commissar Lieber from Prinsrud Gentenplatz, said that police have a new plan for scanning checkpoints here and overseas. Up till now, the wolves seem only to stop in the country, but police don't have an answer to the question of why the attacks have been observed so far apart. The wolves don't seem to have found a permanent camp. There's been a lot of speculation regarding the incompetence of the police. Zoo officials have refused to comment. So the police think that there have been a bunch of killings and it's due to these 2 escaped wolves. The Hubers think that what killed their daughter, Tony, was a werewolf because of the way it looked.
Better let Gracie know I'm on a new case.
The way it looked at Sepp.
Good thing he writes improbably fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'd be a pretty boring video.
I might literally go insane if we don't leave this room soon.
Pretty soon. But like I said, there's a video for everything. It was a good idea. It was before its time, and at the time the video quality was even worse than this because they tried to hide the fact that it was really low resolution by interlacing it, by just putting fake interlacing. Somebody out there, some enterprising person, hacked the game so that to take away that interlacing. So this is as good as it gets. Maybe they'll release a remake with the full, because I'm sure they shot it on film. Well, or I guess they did. Even if they shot it on video, it would have been better than.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
My wallet.
Yep.
It actually has money in it these days.
Yeah, so you don't have to go find a coupon to give to the goddamn hot dog seller to give to the.
You can just buy
You can
a
just-
A
hot dog.
Schottenjäger knife.
Yeah. And we do buy some sausage eventually.
Weisswurst, if I recall correctly.
Wow.
My letter to Gracie.
Spoilers. It's vice versa.
I suppose that's for tending those window boxes.
The game
The Ubers
is.
have a nice setup here.
It's got a
Bit domesticated for my taste, but nice.
what they call a smart cursor.
I was hoping for a Mercedes, but this'll have to do.
So you don't have the verbs. You don't have to like click on walk or open. It's just if there's one thing that you do to something, it's obvious. He just does it. So let's take a look around and see if there's
It's a
any
water
evidence
trough.
of the murder
Ground's a bit muddy over here.
that the police didn't even bother to investigate. I guess.
Any prints?
It's a pretty obvious paw print.
Paw.
Jesus. It's as big as my hand.
I think in general this series relies upon the police in whatever setting the story is taking place in not giving a shit or not being at all good at their jobs.
There's probably some truth to that.
Like that's a big paw print.
These
Yeah.
woods go back a ways. Plenty of space to hide.
Probably full of deer ticks. Although, do they have those?
Lyme disease? I don't know.
I don't know.
They might have deer ticks, but they might not have Lyme disease.
Yeah, that's true.
Some reddish hair, reddish brown hair. So even the close-ups are, photographs.
Just looks like reddish hair to me. I'm gonna need help analyzing it.
So, are the
better find a
escaped wolves
hairologist.
or the escaped wolves red? Is a good question to ask.
Are wolves red?
Well, we just found red hair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that doesn't. We think it might be a werewolf, and werewolves could be any color.
Yeah.
Because they're not real.
But these killings could also be the missing wolves.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Maybe they're red wolves.
How
It
can
sounds
we?
like a thing.
How can we collect
A metal pail.
In a bucket.
the paw
I could be
print?
wrong, but I think this bag contains cement. Now. Quick. Quick drying cement?
I don't think this would work. Can you make a cast out of cement?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Plaster of Paris is more traditional because it's, lighter.
Yeah. Isn't the cement too heavy? Well, whatever.
Maybe without, concrete.
As far as adventure game logic, I guess this isn't so bad. Anyway, in the days before cell phones, I guess they had to do things like this.
God, that's right. We didn't,
This is like 1994, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a thing anymore.
People who had scanners were fancy.
I mean, the video is crude. I mean, that's clearly composited. That log is put into the scene digitally, but for the time, it was pretty impressive. It wasn't the first game. It wasn't the first game that they released like this, but I think it was the second game. But it was huge in scale.
Considering this is 20 years old, I mean, it's not horrible.
It doesn't look bad, yeah. But this kind of game, it didn't last much longer after this. It was far too expensive, and the medium just sort of died out. Nobody wanted to point and click.
It's kind of sad. Why don't you want to find out about...
Well, they still have those games, but they're not... They've sort of made a comeback. But they're not doing full motion video.
Those are great for phones, too, because you have a limited control.
I don't know if the Telltale games will play on a phone. Maybe they will. Does
They
The Walking
should-
Dead play on a phone?
I have no idea, but they should totally do adventure games on phone. I'm sure they do. I just don't know anything about phone gaming because I don't really do it.
Yeah.
Except for this one puzzle game I'm obsessed with lately.
That's not a real game.
Yes, it is.
No.
You have to move the little balls around and...
I only accept certain kinds of games.
I used to have this game called Picross where, it gave you numbers and you had to make pictures based on filling in the little squares based on the numbers, and it got progressively harder.
What?
It was kind of like...
All right, whatever. That's
Joe,
fine.
just Google it.
So we don't do any driving. Okay. Start with the zoo, I guess.
Do you think they have an Okapi?
I don't know whether they have an okapi because we only ever see the wolf. Wolves. Apparently they have monkeys.
Yeah, sounds like it. And is that an elephant noise?
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Maybe it's an authentic lobster noise. Is that dude about to get eaten?
Yeah, he's gonna get eaten. I'm not really sure what the scene is.
Why is he in the pen with the wolf? Or is there not supposed to be a wolf there?
Why is there such a small fence for the wolves?
Yeah,
A wolf can't jump over a 4-foot fence?
Dogs aren't great at jumping, but I think they could probably get over that.
I mean, the fence that we first saw is not tall at all. Look at that thing.
No. Maybe there's a ditch, though. Sometimes there's a ditch.
I don't think so. We're about to get a close-up.
Oh.
Canis lupus lupus, European wolf.
And that says the language of the wolf, but I don't think there's any actual writing there that you can read.
Hey, Wolf. Come on, boy.
What the hell?
Hey, Wolfie. Come on. Come on, Wolfie, Wolfie.
You
Come
wanna
on.
pet
Come
it?
on. Get the heck over here, will ya?
He doesn't explain why he's doing this until afterward.
Here, Wolf. Come on, Wolf. Come on. Come on. It's like that, is it?
If I could get some wolf hair, I could compare it with the hair from the farm.
Oh God, you want to yank some fur
Yeah.
out of a zoo animal?
Yeah, we need some fur.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, we can't just ask somebody what color Canis lupus lupus is.
Or Google it. Well, okay, we literally couldn't because there was no Google. Isn't that weird? There was a time without Google.
There's a lot of years without Google.
I know.
All right, let's talk to this dude.
Hey, dude.
Hopefully he
Excuse me.
speaks
Do you
English.
speak English?
Yes?
Great. Mind if I ask you some questions?
Yeah, okay.
So what's it like shoveling shit?
Have you worked here long?
Thomas. Almost 1 whole year.
Wow.
A year? Wow. I noticed you were pretty calm walking in that kennel. Guess wild animals don't bother you, huh?
The wolves, they are lazy during the day.
Oh.
It's a fairly limited dialogue system.
So you carry a walkie-talkie.
The zoo is big.
Who normally gives you your instructions over that thing?
His
Kitchen,
boss.
sometimes the health unit. For something really important, a Dr. Klingman himself will call me.
Dr. Klingman.
Let's store that name for later use.
Yes.
These wolves are fascinating, aren't they? I tried calling one over, but they weren't too obliging.
Yeah, some people try that all day.
Is there any chance you
He
could take me
thinks you're
inside
a
the kennel?
moron.
I'd really like to see one of the wolves up close, kind of a research thing.
No way. No one will enter the kennel without authorization.
I suppose you were around when those wolves escaped.
No, I don't work at night.
But you must have been here the next day, right? That people were pretty upset, what, with the police and everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that day was super crazy.
Can you tell me about it?
Tell you what,
So sometimes you can ask something and you get a tree.
What did the two missing wolves look like, anyway?
Hilda was pretty. She had much white on her chest. And Parzival, he was bigger, thicker, more in the chest. He was 5 or 6 years old, maybe. Much darker than Hilda.
Dark. Dark what?
Dark gray. Both were gray. And most of the wolves here are. Hilda was light, but they get darker when they get older.
Is that right?
The wolves were gray. This ain't looking good for the police's theory.
Not really.
So how'd the wolves escape, anyway?
Well, Dr. Klingman says the gate was left open after the night feeding.
What do you think?
The gate is heavy, it shuts itself. Maybe something was in the way, maybe a rock, I don't know. I'm only glad it was not me there. The boy who works that night has been, you know.
Oh,
Shot.
fired.
Fired.
So why would Klingman be saying something implausible about the
So,
door?
what do you think about these killings? Pretty scary, huh? Do you ever think those two wolves could do something like this?
I don't believe it is possible. Hilda and Parzival were fine with me, just like all the other wolves. Hilda, She liked to play. She was so young still.
She did. Who's this Dr. Klingman you mentioned?
Dr. Klingman is in charge of the mammal division.
So I should speak to him about seeing the wolves up close.
You can try, but he won't let you.
Perhaps. Where could I find him?
In the administration area.
You could just be like, well, I'm the Schottenjäger, so you should totally let me see them.
You may not want to go broadcasting.
Thank you for your time.
Whatever.
Even the ends of conversations were recorded with video and then composited. I think almost every scene is green screened, which is fine. I don't know that it doesn't stand up to today's technology, but it looks okay. This is clearly green screened.
Kommen Sie. Kann ich Ihnen helfen?
I'm afraid my German isn't very good. My name's Gabriel Knight. I'm an American novelist.
Oh, a novelist. Well.
What can I do for you, Mr. Knight?
I'm researching a new book, and I hear you're the expert in these parts. Could you spare a moment?
Please, sit down.
Thank you.
Bing.
So Gabriel is recording all of these conversations, but they make special note that he's recording this conversation.
Could I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Thanks. You don't mind if I record this, do you?
That's fine.
Stupid. I think Germans would be afraid of listening devices.
So, you're in charge of the zoo's mammal divisions?
Yes.
What kind of training do you need for that, Doc?
I realize you Americans hate titles, but people refer to me as Herr Dr. Klingman here. Herr Doctor will also do.
Sorry.
I have a doctorate from Heidelberg University. My field is animal behaviorist.
Fascinating.
I'd like to say that that's a stereotypical view of Germans, but
I see you're particularly interested in wolves.
Yes, I'm quite well known for my wolf research.
You must have been horrified when 2 of your wolves escaped then.
Yes, it has been very unsettling.
What kind of wolf research do you do, Herr Doctor?
I study wolf society here and in the wild.
Any insights?
Only that there is a purity to nature which human society lacks.
Meaning?
Life, reproduction, death.
We do those things.
In nature there's a purpose to it, even if that purpose isn't pretty. We humans have forgotten our purpose.
We have?
Yes. Does a male lion say to the female, "I'm sorry, but I'm afraid to make a commitment"? Does a female wolf run off and leave her offspring to the male because she wants to mate with another wolf? Do hyenas need psychotherapy because they are guilty about their thieving nature?
You have a point.
Which I'm afraid I have overstated.
Not at all. Do your fellow scientists share your views?
Not often, no. Fortunately, I have found others who do.
I find that to be a very indiscreet comment. So we already have reason to suspect Klingman.
I was speaking with one of your boys out front, Greg, was it?
No, there's no Greg on staff here. Do you mean Thomas?
Thomas, right. Anyway, he's the one that said to talk to you. Because I was wondering if there was any way I could get a closer look at one of the wolves for research.
I'm afraid this is not possible. We don't show our wolves to anyone. We must protect what privacy the creatures have.
Really? Well, gosh. Guess that's that.
Right, we're definitely not going to do anything sneaky and or underhanded.
Do you mind if we talk briefly about the missing wolves?
Is this relevant to your book?
Oh, yeah. You see, wolves are major characters in my new novel, and this case is quite unusual, isn't it?
I suppose it is. Very well. Actually, I know very little about the case, but I will tell you what I can.
Appreciate it. How long have the wolves been missing?
It's been about 2 months.
Jeez. Whew, that's a while, isn't it?
Do you think they're
Strange
dead?
the police haven't seen hide nor hair of them, so to speak.
Believe me, your sentiment is shared by the German public.
Police are incompetent, but are they that incompetent?
Maybe.
What I don't see is why wolves, if the killers are wolves, why wolves would attack humans.
Wolves are predators. Most carnivores are potential man-eaters given hunger enough and opportunity.
But weren't the zoo wolves raised among humans?
Yes. And therefore, they are not afraid of us.
I suppose. Do you think the zoo wolves are responsible for the mutilation killings?
That is yet to be proven.
Because I've been wondering, what else could it be? Wild wolves, maybe?
Unfortunately, there are very few wild wolves left in Germany. Most were killed off by hunters decades ago.
Most?
A few remain in the Alps. But so close to a city like Munich, it's highly unlikely.
Any other suggestions?
I'm afraid I'm as confused as anyone, Mr. Knight.
How does a wolf choose its victims?
Have you ever heard of the language of death?
No.
You may have heard that wolves often choose the young, the old, or the sick as prey. Until recently, many thought this was some sort of natural selection going on, survival of the fittest. But now some of us are finding it is much more complicated than that. We have observed, for example, wolves surround a sick moose cow. The creature was helpless, yet she stood up and glared back at her would-be killers. The wolves dispersed. Or a healthy bull who ran off alone when he sensed wolves, making himself an easy target for no apparent reason. Researchers now believe that there's a kind of primal language going on. I am death, the wolf says. Are you ready to go? And the victim, by its actions, says, yes, I am ready, or no, you will not take me now.
What if their prey doesn't know the language of death?
This is a big problem, particularly for the wolves. When wolves come across domesticated animals who do not know how to play the game, they're confused. They start slaughtering and they have no sense for when to stop. That is why farmers have hunted wolves to extinction in most parts of the world.
Well, that certainly gives me something to think about.
I don't think
Their
that's
doctor's
true.
coat.
It doesn't seem wildly plausible.
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Not at all.
Maybe Jane Jensen read like a self-help book or something.
Maybe.
Anyway, we can't get at the hair doctor's coat while he's in.